Hey guys, welcome to Moto Lap. I'm Tom, and today we're talking about something that doesn't get said enough in the motorcycle world, especially in a culture that sometimes glorifies youth and speed. And that is why riders over 50 must continue riding, not just because you can, but because in many ways, this is actually the best time in your life to be on two wheels. And I'm going to break this down into one experience becomes your superpower. Two, riding keeps your body and mind sharp. Three, you ride smarter, not riskier. Four, freedom matters more than ever at this stage of life. And five, you inspire the next generation of riders just by staying in the saddle. So let's get into it. Because if you're over 50 and wondering whether you should slow down or step away from riding, this might completely change your perspective. Starting with one experience becomes your superpower. By the time you reach 50, you've lived through decades of real world situations, not just on motorcycles, but in life. You've developed judgment, patience, and emotional control that younger riders are still building. And that maturity directly translates to safer, smoother riding because you're less likely to show off, less likely to chase someone else's pace, and far more likely to make calculated decisions about weather, road conditions, and your own limits. And that kind of wisdom cannot be taught in a weekend course. It only comes from years of learning, adapting, and sometimes making mistakes and growing from them. And while reaction time might slightly decrease with age, anticipation dramatically increases. And anticipation is often more important than raw reflexes, because the best riders avoid dangerous situations before they ever need lightning fast reactions. So instead of seeing age as a limitation, recognize that your experience is now your competitive advantage on the road. Moving to two riding keeps your body and mind sharp, and this is something science consistently supports. Learning and performing complex physical tasks keeps neural pathways active and strengthens coordination, balance, and cognitive function. And riding a motorcycle demands focus, spatial awareness, throttle control, clutch modulation, braking precision, and constant environmental scanning, which means every ride is a full mental workout. And physically, you're engaging core muscles, stabilizing with your legs, moving your upper body through turns, and maintaining posture. And unlike passive activities, riding requires active participation from both mind and body at the same time, which can help maintain mobility, reflex awareness, and overall confidence in movement. And beyond the physical and cognitive benefits, there's also the emotional health aspect, because riding reduces stress, clears the mind, and provides a sense of presence that's hard to replicate elsewhere. And many riders over 50 say that the motorcycle is their therapy, their reset button, their escape from daily pressures. And giving that up can sometimes mean losing a powerful outlet for mental well being. Now let's talk about three. You ride smarter, not riskier. Because by 50, you're typically not trying to prove anything to anyone. You're not chasing ego battles at stoplights. You're not riding beyond your limits to impress a group. You understand consequences in a deeper way. And that awareness often results in smoother throttle inputs, better lane positioning, and more consistent decision making. And statistics often show that the most dangerous riding years are the early ones when confidence exceeds skill. But at 50 plus, your confidence is grounded in reality. And that balance creates a calm, controlled riding style that younger riders can learn from. And smoother riding isn't about going slower, it's about being deliberate, being fluid, being intentional. And that kind of riding actually increases enjoyment because you're in control rather than reacting emotionally. Moving on to four, freedom matters more than ever at this stage of life, because by 50, many responsibilities have shifted. Careers are more stable or winding down, children may be grown, priorities become clearer, and you start valuing experiences over impressions. And riding becomes less about adrenaline and more about exploration, connection, and reflection, whether that's a quiet sunrise ride, a weekend road trip, or simply the feeling of wind and engine beneath you. And the sense of independence that comes from operating a machine skillfully on open roads can be deeply empowering, especially in a world that sometimes tries to convince people they should slow down after a certain age. But slowing down doesn't mean stopping, it means refining. And there is something powerful about choosing to continue doing what makes you feel alive, capable, and engaged. and motorcycles have a unique way of reminding us that age does not define passion. Finally, 5, you inspire the next generation of riders just by staying in the saddle. Because when younger riders see someone over 50 riding confidently, responsibly, and enjoying the experience, it reshapes their understanding of what motorcycling can look like long term. It shows them that riding isn't just a phase of youth, but a lifelong journey. And mentorship doesn't always require formal teaching. Sometimes it's simply leading by example, demonstrating proper gear use, calm riding habits, and respect for the road. And your presence in the riding community adds depth, perspective, and history. Stories of how bikes have evolved, how roads have changed, how skills were developed over decades. And that continuity strengthens the culture as a whole. And beyond community impact, there's personal legacy too, because continuing to ride reinforces a mindset that growth, adventure, and learning don't expire at 50. And that mindset influences not just riding, but every other area of life. And yes, it's important to adapt. Maybe you choose a bike that fits your comfort better. Maybe you invest more in ergonomic upgrades. Maybe you prioritize training refreshers or fitness to support your riding. But adapting is not quitting. Adapting is evolving, and evolution is a sign of strength, not weakness. And the truth is, some of the smoothest, most composed riders on the road are well over 50 because they've blended experience, patience, skill, and humility into a riding style that younger riders often strive to achieve. So if you're over 50 and someone has suggested it's time to hang up the helmet, ask yourself whether that suggestion comes from genuine limitation or from outdated assumptions about age. Because as long as you're medically fit, mentally sharp, and committed to safe riding practices, there is no expiration date on two wheels. And in many ways, the rides you take now can be more meaningful, more intentional, and more rewarding than ever before. Because you're not rushing through them, you're appreciating them, and that appreciation changes everything. So don't let a number define your horizon. Keep training, keep learning, keep exploring, keep enjoying the machine and the road. Because riding after 50 isn't about holding on to youth, it's about embracing experience, maintaining vitality, and choosing freedom. And if this message resonates with you or someone you ride with, make sure you like and subscribe for more real talk about motorcycles and mindset. And as always, safe ride, long life.